I live with my mum, dad, 2 younger sisters, my 2 cats called Kiki and Elton, and I've got a tortoise called Percy and another tortoise called Shelley. Kiki and Elton are really young, so they're a bit hyper. Elton's more like calm in a way, but then also a bit crazy. And Kiki's a bit jumpy, but Kiki likes being picked up. Until recently, I live with my 15-year-old cat, Baz, who died just about a month ago.
I am the proud owner of Chuffers. Chuffers is a Lhasa Apso cross who was rescued in Romania. And he came to live with me just before the first lockdown early last year, not long after I'd moved here. And we've been getting to know each other pretty well during the last year and a half. I live alone, and he's been keeping me company, and he's given me a structure as other structures have fallen by the wayside. Come on. Chuffers is a person I shouldn't personalise, should I? Is a dog in his own right. He knows what he likes and what he doesn't like. But if you go about it the right way with him and you pay attention, he's a perfectly lovable dog, and every now and then he lets his little curtain down and comes up and has a snuggle and then walks away. It wasn't me. He likes to think he's the big lad, but he's not really. Where we going? Hey?
I'm currently living with 2 Shih Tzus and got a rescue cat. Nearly took my finger off then, Spike. The oldest is a girl, her name's Poppy, and the youngest, he's a year younger than her, is Spike. He was given the name Spike because it just came into my head one day and I thought it sounded all right. It's probably inappropriate for him, but yeah, that's him. He's great. They're both great. What are you doing there? Poppy she's very, very loving. She wants to be cuddled all the time, wants to sit with you all the time. Spike, he is absolutely adorable. I absolutely love him to bits. He's great. He's my mate. I couldn't imagine being without them, especially Shih Tzus, because my 2 current ones are my 4th and 5th Shih Tzu that I've owned, and I couldn't really see myself owning another breed of dog now. I just absolutely adore them. Yeah, mate.
Soon after Baz passed away, I printed out some photos and gathered up some little pictures, and I made a little memorial thing on my wall. I put it right next to where he sat in his final days. Baz would always sleep in my bed. He'd curl up on the corner. Baz was a bit like one of my siblings. He was definitely part of the family. He was very friendly and he didn't really change since he was 5. He was a bit like a magic cat, to be honest. I'm making a photo book of Baz. It's the good memories of all the the funny photos and stuff. I'll be able to keep this forever. And I can also take it with me and stuff. So we went to the vet and they said he might have cancer, but he was totally fine, and then he was deteriorating. We decided to put him to sleep. I felt like the right thing to do because it meant that he died not too ill. He was still purring a lot of the days. The day that he died, he was still purring, so we could tell he wasn't in too much pain, but it was good because if we left any longer, it would have deteriorated and that would just be worse for him and for us. In the last 3 days before he died, it was difficult because we knew it was coming to an end, but it was also nice because we really cherished all the moments we had with him. But it was stressful because whenever you'd leave the room, it'd always be but that might be the last time you saw him. And then on the last day when the people came to put him to sleep, we were all there, and I feel like it was much nicer than if it was a surprise because we all got to say our goodbyes. and that we ended it in like a nice way as well. He was such a big part of her life, and we don't want to forget it. We just want to like cherish the happiness he brought.
People need to be needed. They do. It doesn't really matter what it is. As it happens, it works with me and the dog. If you want the pleasure of some things, you need to do things, and that is a very important part of well-being. To be over-needed is pressure. To be able to control those requirements is quite subtle. And of course, when you're retired, you're able to do that to some extent, you know. My own health at the moment is I am on quite a high level of what I call maintenance antidepressants, which is inherited from the times when I was affected by it. I am no longer affected by it. And I'm actually in recovery. I have been now for about 5 years. I went to Spain and became alcoholic. But eventually I decided I am a survivor, no matter what. And I got out of the alcohol. I see myself as bloody lucky to be alive, to be honest. He is part of the reason. They bring a certain consistency, and consistency is very healthy. Oh, what? Because triggers for addiction are usually the thorns of life. Oh, I know what you want. And I'm sitting here and he's just, there's a calmness. And you can reflect in that. And I think that's part of recovery. Puffy, puffy. Come on. Thanks a lot.
What's that? Do you want that? Yeah. You don't want it now, do you? Do you want it? Oh. There you go. In 2010, I had a major heart attack. And obviously I was very ill. And when I was discharged from hospital, I had to come home and it was all bed rest and everything. Eddie used to come and sit on the bed with me. He was always around, he was always sticking his head in the bedroom, looking and wagging his tail. He was just such a joy to have around the house. We used to call him King Edward. That was the joke, King Edward, master of all he surveys. Throughout his entire life, he'd hardly ever been to a vet. He'd never been ill. And we just noticed about a week and a half before he died, his stomach become distended. And he was putting on quite a lot of weight. And I came down one morning and he was lying in the doorway and he was dead. I know I've got it. And it was heartbreaking. It really was heartbreaking. There's no way I'd throw it away. Eddie's collar. Still keep it. You sort of go to the vet and come back with a collar and lead, you know. But I couldn't bring myself to throw those sort of things away. We had him cremated, and he's in one of our large plant pots in the garden. This is Eddie, the holly bush, and young Edward, King Edward, his ashes were put there, and as you can see, life's there still. He's growing great with the holly. It's there all year round, you know. It's always there, so that, you know, it's not like, oh, Eddie's popping up this spring. It's there all the time. So yeah, rain, hail or snow, Eddie's still here with us. So I mean, we were fortunate when Eddie went because Poppy was here. But to come into a house when there was only one pet and that pet's died, it just feels horrible. It feels really bad. You know, and I mean, I've lost people in my life. I've lost parents. You know, and I know what that type of grief feels. But I don't know. With pets, it's a different type of grief. You know, everyone else always lingers in your memory, and your pets do as well.
When I'm older, I'll definitely get some cats. I couldn't really imagine having no pets. I just find it a bit weird because I've like literally never experienced that.
You often recognise in rescue animals similar characteristics to what I might be feeling myself. And you instinctively know how to help the animal, but not always how to help yourself. But there you learn. I learned by what I did with them, which was instinctive, how to actually help myself heal. Take your time, mate. Don't rush.
Every time one of our dogs has passed away, I've said, no, that's it. No more. No more. And here I am with two dogs. And I don't suppose, you know, they'll be the last two. Come on, down here. You know, I just couldn't imagine at home without them, you know. Good girl, good boy.
Okay, you're spoiled.
Spoilt, aren't you? Aye, you're spoilt.